to wake up in the morning to the quiet of the cove and hear Aunt Bessie talking to herself, and to hear poor Uncle John mumbling wishes to O'Nell. It made me feel like everything was fine. I was born down by the water, it's here I'm gonna stay. I've searched for all the reasons why I should go away, but I haven't got the thirst for all those modern day toys, so I'll just take my chances with those saltwater joys. Following a little brook as it trickles to the shore in the autumn when the trees are flaming red, kicking leaves that fall around me, watching sunset paint the hills. It's all I'll ever need to feel at home. This island that we cling to has been handed down with pride by folks who fought to live here, taking hardships all in stride. So I'll compliment her beauty, hold on to my goodbyes, and I'll stay and take my chances with those saltwater joys. How can I leave those mornings with the sunrise on the cove and the gulls like flies surrounding Clayton's Wharf? Platter's Island wrapped in rainbow in the evening after fog. The ocean smells are perfume to my soul. Some go to where the buildings reach to meet the clouds, where warm and gentle people turn to swarming faceless crowds. So I'll do without their riches, glamour and the noise, and I'll stay and take my chances with those saltwater toys. Some go to where the buildings reach to meet the clouds, where warm and gentle people turn to swarming faceless crowds. So I'll do without their riches, glamour and the noise, and I'll stay and take my chances with those saltwater joys.
Good evening and welcome to This Week in Review. Tonight, our stories include Sand and Sea Festival activities, Cadets 50th Anniversary Parade, our MHA Calvin Parsons. Please stay tuned for these stories after this.
Getting your kids to eat more fruits and vegetables can seem like an impossible challenge. That's why the folks at 5 to 10 a Day created a website with lots of tips to help parents meet that challenge. Childhood is a critical time for developing healthy eating habits. For helpful tips, visit 5to10aday.com or call 1-888-939-3333.
The Sand and Sea Festival activities begin on Thursday, July 26. Due to unfavorable weather conditions, the opening ceremonies was held at the Rec Center. Paulette Marsden opened the ceremonies. There were opening comments from invited speakers.
Now I'd like you to join me in welcoming to our stage Tony Cornick, who's the MHA from Port-au-Port, to bring greetings on behalf of Premier Danny Williams.
Thank you, Paulette. Your Worship, Kelvin, Lorraine, Reverend, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Premier Williams and the Government of Newfoundland and Labrador, it is my pleasure to welcome all of you to the opening ceremonies of the 13th Annual Sand and Sea Festival right here in beautiful Burgeo. I was supposed to get a round of applause for that, and I said Burgeo, beautiful Burgeo. I tell you, I drove around your town, and it is absolutely, absolutely gorgeous, even on a rainy day. During this 3-day event, you will get to enjoy performances by several of our talented local musicians and sample some finest traditional food the province has to offer. I would like to pay tribute to the organizing committee and many volunteers who have put so much time and effort into planning such a spectacular event for our enjoyment. Without them, none of this would be possible. If you look through the list of activities, games, contests, entertainment, and great food, I am sure you will all agree that you have outdone yourselves once again. I encourage each and every one of you to get out and enjoy the various activities that have been planned for this year's festival. This annual event lends to a tremendous sense of community spirit and collaboration, engaging the involvement of people throughout the town of Burgeo. To those of you who are visiting this beautiful area, I hope you'll thoroughly enjoy all the natural beauty and hospitality the town of Burgeo and its people have to offer. Once again, on behalf of Premier Williams and the Government of Newfoundland and Labrador, may this year's Sand and Sea Festival surpass all expectations and be the most successful yet. Have a great, great, great weekend. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cornig. Now welcome the Honourable Calvin Parsons.
Thank you, Paulette. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Great to be here. Special welcome to our visitors, Lorraine Michaels. Lorraine is the leader of the NDP. She represents the district of Signal Hill Kitivity, which is within the city of St. John's. Welcome, Mr. Cornick. Tony is the MHA for the district of Port-au-Port, up in the Stephenville area. Reverend Vallis and Mayor Reed, welcome everyone. I'd like to say thank you very much for your kind invitation. Hi to everyone who lives here, particularly our seniors who have joined us today. I noticed we got a few seniors here from the Calder Center. Now, if the rain is not going to stop them, it's not going to stop the rest of us, I'm sure. So we're all in for a good time. We're pretty adaptable people. That's not going to be an issue. Calls for 29 degrees and sun tomorrow. So whatever we're missing out on today, we will pack it into tomorrow. And it's not going to stop some fun on the beach. I'd like to say congratulations in particular to Paulette and her committee, because without the volunteers and the organizers, this just does not happen. So we got a lot of good friends here. We got a lot of good music here. Let's have a good time for the next 2 or 3 days, and let's rock Burgeo as always. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Parsons. Now we'll welcome Lorraine Michael.
Thank you very much, Paulette. I'm delighted to be here and to bring greetings from the New Democratic Party as the leader of the party. I want, first of all, to recognize Paulette and her committee and all the work they've done for the 13th festival. I also want to say I'm very pleased to be here with my colleagues from the House of Assembly, Calvin, your MHA, and Tony representing the government. I'm also very pleased to meet again members of the Town Council whom I met last year when I was here. One of the privileges of being leader of the party is that you do get to be invited to go around the province to these various festivals. And I have to say that it's wonderful. One of the places I'd never been before in Newfoundland and Labrador when I became leader was Burgeo. So I was delighted last year when I came here for your Burgeo Day. And I have to say, I've been an ambassador for Burgeo ever since. You have one of the most beautiful beaches in this province, and you should be promoting this area as much as you can, and this festival is one way in which you do it. I keep telling people, you're missing out if you haven't been to Burgeo. So I promise you, I'm glad, I'm really delighted that I'm back here again this year. I'm delighted that Burgeo is one of the communities in this province who sees the benefit of having a summer festival. I know you're going to have a bang-up time, so enjoy the festival, and once again, thank you for the invitation to be here.
Thank you, Ms. Michael. Now we welcome to stage Mayor George Reed.
Thank you, Paulette. I'm glad that Michael was ahead of me because she got the mic at the right height there. Anyhow, good evening, everyone, and welcome all out-of-town visitors to this lovely town. And on behalf of council, I hope that you all have a good time here for this 13th Sand and Sea Festival. I would like to thank the committee for doing a good job, which they always do. Every year they put off probably one of the better festivals on the Highland. We have Reverend Vallis with us, of course. You think there's a little bit of rain now, but that's gone because he's got full control over what's going on after this. And I'm sure we're going to end up with a nice sunny weekend. I do hope that you take part in all the activities that you can. Make sure that you do everything safely, and please do not drink and drive. I would like for you to enjoy this town and everything it has to offer. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Reed. And now I would like you to welcome Reverend Vallis to open our festival with a prayer.
Well, I don't know, after Mayor Reed, that's an onerous responsibility to be responsible for the weather. But the last, I don't know how many weeks now, people have been asking me, can't I do something about the weather? And I've tried and it hasn't worked, so obviously I'm not in charge. So I'll just ask you now to bow your heads for a second. Creator of all that is, we give you thanks for the beauty that is around us. We give you thanks for the wonderful beach that we have to enjoy in this community. And we ask that in the next few days especially, you would grant to us the freedom to enjoy, to celebrate, to come together as friends, as family, and as new acquaintances. And we ask your blessing upon this festival in the name of Jesus our Savior. Amen.
Our Mayor, George Reed, cut the ribbon, marking the official opening.
Our Mayor Reed to cut the ribbon to officially open our Sand and Sea Festival.
Go to it.
And our MHA Calvin Parsons, along with a few committee members, cut the cake.
Well, when I taught for 12 years, and every year, sometime, I lost my voice, at least once.
During the festival, Captain M. Billard and his assistants held a screeching in ceremony. Here are a few scenes from that.
Yo, yes, yeah, putting in her on television, play around with him. Yeah. Now don't busting up. Now my son, do whatever you get your butts off, because it'll all come to you. There's your shoppers. What's that little baby shirt? Let's say, buddy, piece of that table. Ain't good? What? Give it to her. You come on over, my darling. Yeah. No, take a big piece. Try that. Cheers. Oh, you cheated. You done it before, right? Who's the new? Oh, that's who that is. I tell you from France. What are you from France? But I don't understand French. That's Newfoundlandese, don't you? How can you do everything? You ain't got nothing to do everything with. You say that right, or I'll give you a slap. If you do everything right, you do everything. You right. No. How can you do everything if you ain't got nothing to do everything with? How can you do our thing if you haven't got our thing to do our thing with? You're getting close. How can you do our thing if you ain't got our thing to do our thing with? How can you do our thing if you can't do our thing? You're going to be somewhere trained. Huh? You're going to be a wall, I think, before you come to Newfoundlander. Now, you got... do? You don't. You know him? Oh, you do? That's not good stuff. Now, you ready? How can you do everything if you ain't getting everything to do everything with?
How can you do an art thing if you don't have an art thing to do an art thing with?
No. How can you do everything if you ain't got everything to do everything with?
How can you do an art thing and don't have an art thing?
It's nothing to do with her. Huh? Oh, yes. Better than it, better. Yeah. That take your time now. Now close your eyes. One, two, three. You got reversing, you got squid. Come over here. On behalf of Boy and our Danny Williams, I will pronounce you a Newfoundlander. Yes, sir. You take that and congratulations. You're welcome, buddy.
Saturday, the RCSCC Bob Bartlett held a parade to commemorate their 50 years here in Burgeo. The parade led them past the War Memorial and then up to the community center. Up at the center, Mr. Dan Sims, representing the Blagden family, hosted the events in the center. A plaque was then presented to the Sea Cadets for their 50 years.
We've got a plaque here I'd like to present to the Corps. So if the CO to Corps can come up sometime in April, if you don't mind, please. This flag is to the officers and cadets of RCSCC Bob Bartlett in appreciation for 50 years of dedicated effort from the Blagden family.
Thank you. Officers and CIs. On behalf of 157 Bob Bartlett and on behalf of the Bragdon family, we greatly appreciate what you did today. This is what 50 years is all about. Thank you.
Mayor George Reed got up and added a few words.
Good day, everyone. going to say it's a very good turnout. I thought the place would be blocked though, because I would say probably about at least 500 or 600 people have went through the course since it started. So I wrote up a few words here I want to say, because the Cadets to me is a very important establishment here in this town, so I'm going to read this out to you. And on behalf of council, I welcome you to the 50th anniversary of the RCSC Bob Bartlett. And I was told that there were 32 of us who started the Sea Cadets and 5 officers at the beginning. And I think you probably should see the guys who were in the original corps. And if you guys are sitting down there now or drinking beer, would you just come up front, please, so everybody can see who you are, the original members of this group, please. These are sampling of the group. There's 23 of them still alive, so we were a tough bunch of us. So, and I think that makes an average age at least 64 or better. So all you young cadets here, you know, take a good look. That's what you're going to look like 50 years from now. The corps itself is almost old as council, because I think Bertha Council was incorporated, I think, in 1950, 51 in that area. And I also think that the forming of this corps was the first organized activity for young boys. It gave many experiences, and also the first opportunity to meet Virgil. You'd be surprised that it was the first time that many of us had an opportunity to get out of Virgil to go elsewhere in the world. And that probably is happening even today, that sometimes the first time we go out of Virgil, we're going out to the Sea Cadets. Of course, we ended up going to camp, and I think today we ended up going not only in Nova Scotia, you go to BC, you go to, I heard people went as far as Japan, so, you know, it's increased the area which you go to. I would also like to tell you that I'm not the right person to give you a history of the Corps. Throughout the evening, you should talk to people like Bill Grant and Elster Ann, MHA Parsons, Fred Weller, guys like that can recall a lot of the Corps history. I forgot a lot of it. The only thing I remember is we had a boxing match one time, and Wayne Green punched me in the nose, and they removed me. And I remember going to camp because we, on the day after in the camp, we met 2 or 3 lovely-looking girls. So things like that stick in your mind, you know? But I think, though, that probably one of the best things that happened to the Corps is when girls were allowed to join. When we started, of course, there were no girls in the Corps, and I don't know what year it came about, but after a while, girls were allowed to join the Corps, and I think that probably, from my point of view, made a better Corps. I would also say, of course, the Corps would not have lasted as long without the dedication of the officers. Because these women who give their free time, of course, I say free time, but nevertheless sometimes it's taken from other family activities. And without these, you would never have had Corps this long. And I think now we should give a round of applause to these officers past and present. Thank you. And as a cadet, of course, you know your experience discipline. That's sadly lacking in some cases those days, but it's not lacking in the cadets.
Not in your class.
Teamwork, of course, socializing, travel, and knowledge. Of course, I'm still using my knot tying knowledge that I learned in the cadets. So I remember Blackman made sure that we all knew how to tie a bow down and stuff like that. So I can still tie a bow down. And you'd be surprised, my kids, even the fellow got 40 years old, he can't tie a bow down. You know, I'm taught a couple times a season. I would also say that in today's world, that the Corps is having a harder time getting officers and cadets, but I still feel it's an important place for the Corps in Virgil. And I hope that this is the first day of the next 50 years, to tell you the truth. We'd like to be around, but... So, I got one other thing to do, and I think I would like to take a minute of silence for all of those cadets and officers who are not with us, of course, as they have passed on. I would like to take a minute of silence, please. Thank you. I hope you'll all enjoy yourself, so have a good evening.
Mr. Julian Austin also did a greeting.
Well, I'd like to thank you so very much for welcoming me to your beautiful community of Burgeo. It's my first time here in this part of Newfoundland, and as Dan said, when he asked me to be here today, if I would make it, I said no problem. I'll make sure that we are here. And to all the cadets, I must say you look outstandingly sharp and fine in your uniforms, and I wish you all the best in all your endeavors in life. And this is really cool. I have a lot of respect for this man, and I just want to thank him again for making this happen, for getting me here. I'm only by myself tonight. I have some of the gentlemen here in Burgeo is going to get up and jam with me tonight, so who's coming out tonight, I'm going to get up there and make some noise, and, you know, stuff like that. Yahoo, yeehaw. Well, thanks again, folks. Really appreciate being here. And be part of the 50th Sea Cadet reunion.
Congratulations to the Sea Cadets for reaching their 50 years. Our MHA Calvin Parsons dropped by the studio and gave us an update on the brush cutting and the restrooms on the government wharf. Tonight in our studios we have our MHA Calvin Parsons. Good evening, sir.
Hi, good to be back again.
Yes, it is. Good to see you again. So what brings you to town this time?
Well, we were down for the Sand and Sea, of course. I think this is the 13th Sand and Sea, and I've been coming to the last 9 of them. And I try to make the opening ceremonies all the time. Took part in it this afternoon. Met a few people, of course, and mingled. And I also did some socializing. I had some friends of mine from Port Basque area who never ever saw the South Coast. So we came down a few days earlier and went down the Grey River and had them off in Ramia, and now we're here in Burgeo for a spell. So
good.
it was a bit of social, and at the same time meet some people.
Oh, wonderful. So you got some news for us on our brush cutting?
Yes, I'm very pleased to say that it appears that the squeaky wheel does get the grease sometimes, and I was advised last Friday that there might be a tender call in the Western Star for the brush cutting on the Burgeo Road, and sure enough, there was, and it's in there now. They're calling for tenders to cut the brush from kilometer 0, which is at the Trans-Canada, up to kilometer 80, which would take you down Route 480, the Burgeo Road, down to about Peter Strides. And they're going to use a mechanical harvester. The tender call closes on August the 7th, so they want to make the decision on whoever gets the tender fairly quickly so that we can get it over and get it done as fast as possible. They're going to do it with the mechanical harvester. So in the past we used make work projects, and quite often they were in the winter time, and you were pruning the alders rather than cutting it. So now it's going to be 10 meters each side of the road, so that's about 30 feet on either side of the highway all the way down. So it was great to hear. We made
quite a screech about it, and we circulated a petition in Burgeo and over in Ramia and down in Grey River and Francois. And the open line piece, I believe the mayor went on the BBS as well and called for people to go on the open lines, and I was on there several times myself. So it's a case where pressure worked, and it was a safety issue for people driving on that section of road, and I'm pleased to say that the efforts paid off. And for anyone who wasn't aware of it, yes, the commitment has been made to cut it, and now the tender call has been made. So in the very near future, we should actually see that issue being done and over with, at least for the next few years anyway.
Do you have any idea what the start date could probably be?
Well, given that the tender closes on August the 7th, it usually takes anywhere up to 10 days after that to make their decision. If there's more than one bid and one tender, and if they come in within reason of the tender, they'll make a decision fairly quickly then. They don't usually delay on it, and there's not that many people who have these mechanical harvesters anyway. So I suspect that it'll be done fairly shortly after August the 7th.
Well, that will be great.
So hopefully before the days get too short and we're into the fall season, hopefully it'll be all done and over with.
Oh, wonderful.
And I'd like to thank the people of Burgeo and Ramia and Grey River and Francois who called the open lines, who took the time to sign the petition, and it did work. So it's a case where, like as I say, the squeaky wheel sometimes gets the grease. And as opposed to some people say you're in opposition, you can't get things done. I find it just the opposite, because you're not sitting in part of government where you got to be quiet sometimes, and you can go out and scream and holler and get things done. So I appreciate all the help that we had in getting this done.
Well, that's great. So is there anything else that you wanted to bring to the people's attention?
There is another issue, and that concerns what do we call it, a ferry terminal. For anyone who watched the House of Assembly last year, I guess I was on to the porta potty thing. This is because the people from down the coast who come here, of course, and use the ferry service here, if they're waiting for the ferry to go either to Voyageur to go down the coast or for the Gallipoli to go across to Ramia, they could be out there sometimes waiting quite a period of time, and they didn't have a washroom facility, they didn't have a waiting room. So that obviously was not acceptable. We tried several years ago, and they didn't respond. And we've been after Hickey for quite some time now to get it done. So again, with the help of petitions that we entered into the House, and questions in question period, and open line shows again, we ranted and raved. So the government finally did commit to $330,000 to the project in this year's budget. So I met with Cyril McCarthy last week. Cyril is the head guy, the superintendent on the West Coast for the Works and Transportation Department. And he tells me, and in fact I've had it confirmed now, that they've sent out copies of the drawings. The drawings have been finalized by the engineers for the building that will be built down here next to the shed. And you'll drive down over the hill, there's the shed on the wharf on your right. This new facility will be built to the left. They've allotted $330,000, and the drawings have been sent to each of the councils, local service districts. It's been sent to the Council of Burgeo, the Ramia Council, the local service district in Francois and Grey River, and it's also, those communities have what they call ferry committees, so they've been sent to those committees as well. The idea being that here's what we plan on doing, here's the drawings, if there's anything that we've overlooked, let us know, and hold a meeting, get some public input into this, and let us know. I understand from speaking with Mayor Reed that there is a set of drawings at the town office. There's no ferry committee here as such in Burgeo, but the drawings are there. If anybody wants to have a look at them, by all means, just go by the town hall. If you have any comments, just let the town manager know, and he can make sure that your comments find its way back to Works Transportation as well. This is not intended to be a delay tactic. They didn't send us out and they're going to wait weeks or months to get the feedback. I was over in Ramia and I met with the group over there, and they're actually having their ferry committee meeting on Monday, Tuesday night of next week. So the government expects and would like to have the input back as quickly as possible so that we can get the tenders actually called. They didn't want to go call tenders without allowing the people to have some input, but they don't want it to be a dragged out process. It's there. It's going to be a building about 24 by 30. It's going to have an office set up, and it's going to have washroom facilities for males and females and so on. and it's all going to be up to code in terms of, you know, handicap accessible and so on. So it's going to be quite a nice facility, and down the road, of course, once it's there, we had to look at the issue then of who's going to staff it, because there's not much point in having it and putting that kind of facility here if we don't have someone to be there to operate it when the ferries are running. So that's another issue that we approach once we get now to the actual construction phase. We get to the operational phase then. So that's there, and I invite the public again to drop by the town hall here, have a look, peep at the plans, and see if there's anything that you'd like to have any input into. So as a case again where the squeaky wheel, we squeaked and screeched and bawled until they finally relented. So it's nice to see that both of these things, the ferry terminal and the brush cutting, are going to be done this year. So other than that, that's about it. It's a bit of socializing, meeting some people. Even though it's socializing, of course, you meet people and they always have issues. So it's a great opportunity for me to get their issues and take them back and work on them for them. So looking forward to the next few days down here and enjoying.
Oh, good. And thank you so much for taking time to drop by and chat with us.
Not a problem. Anytime.
Okay, thank you.
This concludes our programming for tonight. There will be no This Week in Review for the next 2 weeks. I will be on holidays. Thank you for watching. Good night.